It's my pleasure this morning to introduce Michelle Condorino. She is the Executive Director for Open Doors in Norwalk. They are one of our dear, dear local partners. And she is, for the last 3 years, and in the midst of the pandemic, she has led Open Doors to adopt innovative and evidence-based practices to end homelessness in Greater Norwalk. She has decades of experience in this area of human services, provides regional leadership to related organizations, and partners with Connecticut Coalition to End Homelessness to enlist realtors and engage landlords statewide. We're so glad to have Michelle with us this morning. If you would like to ask her questions or learn more, please join us after worship today in the missions room right off of the Skylight lobby, and come and hear more from Michelle and ask any questions you have. But please welcome Michelle Condorino.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. And I want to say a very sincere thank you for all of the prayers and thoughts you have sent our way over these last few years. I can tell you that there were some very dark times and very scary and very confusing times. And I think only by the support of our community were we able to continue going. If you're unfamiliar with Open Doors, we have a very simple mission, and that is to end homelessness for everyone in the Greater Norwalk area. We have operated as a homeless shelter for close to 40 years. We provide shelter for individuals and families. We also do street outreach. So we try to find people who are experiencing unsheltered homelessness and drive them towards housing. We have our soup kitchen as well that provides 2 meals a day. I'm sure many of you have been and volunteered. We are actually hoping to bring volunteers back into the kitchen in the new year, so we look forward to seeing you all again. I would say about 15 years ago, we recognized one of the biggest barriers people were having to ending their homelessness was the lack of affordable housing. And so Open Doors began developing and opening affordable housing opportunities for people who were transitioning out of homelessness and providing them with short-term and long-term support as they left. Because having someone leave homelessness is only good if they don't return. And so we want to make sure that everybody is successful once they leave us. In the last few years, though, we've put a lot of emphasis on homeless prevention. We can't end homelessness from the front door of a shelter. And so we've really invested in this community. We have our community closet. I hope people have been able to volunteer there. That provides clothing to our community members. We have a food pantry that's open 5 days a week that allows people to shop for the items they really need and feed their families. And we just recently opened our Financial Opportunity Center, which connects people to any benefits they may qualify for, just to stabilize them, but invests in employment coaching and placement and long-term financial coaching. And now we're moving into workforce development, so helping people get trainings and certifications into careers and following their passion into livable wage jobs. We cannot deny that things have changed here in the last few years. It has gotten incredibly expensive to live in this community, and households that have lived here for generations are being forced out. And so we all need to work together to think about ways that we can create affordable housing in our communities, that we can create employment opportunities for people, and I think support one another. And I hear a lot, on the news and talking about how divided we are and how separated we are, and I just think that's fake news. When the pandemic hit, people could have thought about themselves. It was scary. We were facing something we had never faced before. And people could have focused on themselves, on their family, on their own safety, on their own health. And yet so many people came to Open Doors and provided us help, whether that was through food donations or just sending prayers and thoughts. People made us masks. People sent us toilet paper. People sent us hand sanitizer. People just let us know that we weren't alone. And it felt like we were alone. And I'm sorry, like, it's actually like very emotional to me because, we help about 3,000 people every year. And I've always known that what we do is incredibly important. But over these last few years, it felt like life or death. And that's a scary place to be. It's a scary organization to run, knowing that if you don't stay open, people have nowhere to sleep, people have nothing to eat. And we wouldn't have been able to get through that without all of you. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for everything you have done. Thank you for everything you will do. I think this community is a wonderful place, and I'm so thrilled to be a part of it and to be able to make sure that everybody who lives in our county, in our greater areas, has the same opportunities to have their own bed, to have food in their refrigerator, to have a job that they love, and a future for their families. So, thank you.